I'm your host, Natasha, and today we are going to talk about how daily habits can improve your English. Whether you want to speak English more confidently, understand English better, or just enjoy learning, daily habits are the secret to success. Small actions every day can lead to big improvements over time. Let's start with the first habit, listening to English every day. This could be listening to a podcast, watching a short video, or even listening to English songs. For example, if you listen to a 5-minute podcast each morning, your brain will start to recognize common words and phrases without you even thinking too hard. Over time, listening becomes easier, and you will understand more without translating in your head. Another important habit is speaking English every day. You don't need to speak with a teacher or a native speaker every day. You can speak to yourself, describe what you are doing, or practice short dialogues. For example, in the morning you could say, "Today I will drink coffee, read the news, and study English for 30 minutes. Speaking like this helps you practice vocabulary and sentence structures. Reading in English every day is also very helpful. You can read short news articles, social media posts, or even English books at your level. When you read a little every day, your vocabulary grows naturally. For example, if you read one short news article every day, you will see new words in context, which makes them easier to remember. Writing in English is another habit that can help you improve. You can start with simple sentences. For example, you could write a short diary entry. Today I went to the park. The weather was sunny. I saw many people walking their dogs. Writing like this every day helps you practice grammar and remember new words. Another habit is reviewing what you learned every day. This means going back to new words or sentences you studied and using them again. For example, if you learned 5 new words today, try to use them in sentences tonight. This repetition helps your memory, and you will remember more in the long term. Now let's talk about using English in real life. Try to find small opportunities every day. You could order food in English, chat with a friend online, or even comment on social media posts in English. Using English in real situations is very powerful. For example, if you write a comment under a YouTube video in English, you practice real communication, not just studying. Another tip is to make your environment English-friendly. Label objects in your house with English words, change your phone language to English, or follow English accounts on social media. These small changes help you see English everywhere, and your brain will start to think in English naturally. Finally, it is important to stay consistent and patient. Learning a language takes time. Even 10 or 15 minutes every day is better than one long study session once a week. For example, studying English for 15 minutes each day for a month is much more effective than studying 2 hours once a month. Small steps every day create big results over time. One habit that can really help you improve your English is setting a daily English goal. A goal does not need to be big. For example, you can decide that today you will learn 5 new words, write 3 sentences in English, and listen to 1 short podcast. By setting small goals every day, you create a routine, and your brain starts to expect English practice every day. Small goals feel easy to achieve, and achieving them gives you confidence. Another helpful habit is keeping an English journal. You can write about your day, your thoughts, or your plans. For example, you could write, "Today I went to the market. I bought fresh vegetables. I saw my friend and we talked about our favorite movies." Writing a few sentences every day improves your grammar, your vocabulary, and your confidence in using English. You do not need to write a long story, but the important thing is to practice consistently. A very useful habit is reading aloud in English. Reading aloud helps your pronunciation and your fluency. For example, you can take a short article and read it slowly at first, then read it again a little faster. You can even record yourself while reading and listen to the recording later. Listening to your own voice helps you notice your mistakes and improve. Listening and speaking together is another powerful combination. You can listen to a short conversation and repeat it. For example, if you hear someone say, "Hello, how are you today?" "I am good, thank you," you can repeat the same sentence. Try to copy the pronunciation, intonation, and speed. Repeating sentences you hear every day helps you sound more natural when you speak English. Using English flashcards is another helpful daily habit. You can make cards with new words or phrases. On one side, write the English word, and on the other side, write the meaning in your language or a simple example sentence. For example, one card could have excited on one side and on the other side. I am excited because I will visit my friend tomorrow. Reviewing flashcards every day helps you remember words faster. Watching English videos with subtitles is another excellent habit. You can watch short videos about topics you enjoy, like cooking, sports, or travel. For example, you can watch a 5-minute video about making a sandwich. Read the subtitles while listening, and then watch it again without subtitles. This helps you understand English naturally and improves both your listening and reading skills. A very important habit is speaking with others in English. You do not need to find native speakers every day. You can join online groups, chat with friends, or even talk to people in a language exchange app. For example, you can write to a friend, "Hello, how was your day? I am learning English and I want to practice. Can we talk for 10 minutes?" Practicing speaking regularly is one of the fastest ways to improve. Thinking in English during your day is another small habit that has a big effect. Instead of translating from your language, try to describe things in English in your mind. For example, when you see a dog, you can think, "The dog is brown. It is running fast. The dog looks happy." Thinking in English helps you speak faster and makes your English sound more natural. Another effective habit is learning phrases, not just words. For example, instead of learning the word eat alone, learn the phrase, "I want to eat breakfast now." Using phrases makes your sentences sound more natural and helps you remember words in context. Every day, you can try to learn one new phrase and use it in your writing or speaking. Listening to English music and singing along is a fun daily habit. Music helps you learn new words, improve pronunciation, and remember phrases. For example, if you hear the song line, "I am walking in the sunshine," you can sing it several times. You can also write the lyrics in English and learn the meaning. Music makes learning enjoyable and easy to remember. Another daily habit is reading simple English stories. You can start with short stories or graded readers that match your level. For example, you can read a story about a boy who finds a new puppy. After reading, you can try to retell the story in your own words. This habit improves your vocabulary, grammar, and speaking confidence at the same time. Using English apps for daily practice is also very helpful. Many apps give you short exercises every day. For example, you can do a 5-minute lesson on vocabulary, grammar, or listening. Doing this regularly builds your skills step by step. The important thing is not to skip a day, because daily habits are more effective than long sessions once in a while. Practicing English in different situations is another great habit. For example, in the kitchen, you can say, "I am cutting vegetables. I will cook pasta now. I hope it will taste good." In the store, you can think or speak, "I need 2 tomatoes and 1 onion. How much is this bread?" Using English in real-life situations every day helps your brain connect words with actions and meaning. A very simple but important habit is reviewing your mistakes. Every day, look at your writing, speaking, or exercises and notice your mistakes. For example, if you wrote, "He go to school," you can correct it to, "He goes to school." Learning from mistakes helps you improve faster and prevents the same errors in the future. Another fun habit is playing word games in English. You can play online games, crossword puzzles, or apps like Scrabble. For example, you can play a game where you match the word happy with the correct meaning or picture. Games make learning exciting and help you remember words in a fun way. Practicing questions and answers is a helpful habit. Every day, try to ask and answer simple questions in English. For example, you can ask yourself, "What is your favorite food?" And answer, "My favorite food is pizza because it is delicious." Practicing questions and answers every day prepares you for real conversations. Listening to English news for beginners is another useful habit. For example, you can listen to a short news report. Today, the weather is sunny. People are going to the park. Children are playing football. Listening to simple news every day improves your vocabulary, your listening, and your understanding of real English. Finally, one of the most important habits is being consistent and patient. Learning English is not a race. You should focus on small daily actions. For example, even if you study English for just 20 minutes a day, after 1 month, you will see clear progress. The key is to practice every day, enjoy the process, and keep your motivation high. One of the best ways to improve your English is to create a daily routine that includes different types of practice. When you practice every day, English becomes a part of your life, and it is easier to remember words and phrases. Let me give you an example of a daily English routine that you can follow. In the morning, you can start by listening to something in English for 10 or 15 minutes. For example, you can listen to a short podcast or a news report while you are having breakfast. You can say to yourself, "Today I will listen carefully and try to understand 5 new words." While listening, you can write down words you do not know and look at their meaning later. Listening in the morning wakes up your brain and helps you start the day with English. After breakfast, you can practice speaking for 5 to 10 minutes. You do not need a partner. For example, you can look in the mirror and say, "Good morning. Today I will study English. I will read a short story and learn new words. I feel happy because I am improving my English every day." Speaking to yourself every day helps you build confidence and makes it easier to speak with others later. Next, you can do a reading activity. For example, you can read a short article, a simple story, or even a social media post in English. You can say, "Today I will read 1 article and learn 10 new words. I will write 1 sentence with each word." Reading every day improves your vocabulary and helps you understand sentence structures. It also helps your brain recognize English patterns naturally. During the afternoon, you can focus on writing practice. For example, you can write a short diary entry about your morning. You can write, "This morning I listened to a podcast. I learned 5 new words. I spoke in English for 10 minutes. I feel motivated to keep learning." Writing every day strengthens your grammar and makes your English more accurate. After writing, you can do a listening and speaking exercise together. For example, you can watch a short video in English. Then you can repeat what the speakers say. You can say, "Hello, my name is Natasha. I am learning English. Today I watched a video about healthy habits. I will use some new words in my sentences." Repeating what you hear every day improves your pronunciation and helps you speak more naturally. In the evening, you can practice reviewing and repeating words and phrases you learned earlier in the day. For example, if you learned the word delicious, you can say, "The cake is delicious. I am excited to eat it." If you learned the phrase, "I am going to the park," you can use it in a sentence. "Tomorrow, I am going to the park with my friend." Reviewing every day helps you remember words and phrases for a long time. You can also include fun activities in English in your daily routine. For example, you can listen to English music while cooking or cleaning. You can sing the lyrics and try to understand the meaning. Another fun activity is playing word games or simple English apps for 10 minutes. For example, you can play a game where you match words with pictures. Fun activities make learning enjoyable and keep you motivated. Another habit is to think in English during daily activities. For example, when you are walking to the store, you can say to yourself, "I am walking to the store. I will buy milk and bread. The weather is sunny and warm. I feel happy today." Thinking in English every day helps your brain connect English words with real-life situations. It also helps you speak more fluently because you start thinking in English naturally. In the evening, you can also do a conversation practice with a friend or online partner. For example, you can write, "Hello, how are you today? I am learning English. Can we talk for 10 minutes?" During the conversation, you can ask questions, answer, and use new words or phrases you learned during the day. Talking to someone every day builds confidence and improves your communication skills. Before going to bed, you can do a short review of your day in English. For example, you can say, "Today I listened to a podcast. I learned new words like delicious, excited, and weather. I wrote a diary entry in English. I spoke for 10 minutes. I feel happy because I practiced English all day." Reviewing your day in English helps you notice your progress and motivates you to continue learning. It is very important to mix different types of practice every day. Listening, speaking, reading, writing, and thinking in English all work together. For example, you cannot only listen to English and expect to speak well. You also need to practice speaking. You cannot only read words and expect to understand conversations. Using different skills every day makes your learning complete. Another tip is to make your English practice enjoyable. For example, if you like cooking, you can watch cooking videos in English and follow the instructions. If you like sports, you can read articles about your favorite teams. If you like music, you can listen to songs and write the lyrics. When you enjoy learning English, it becomes easier to practice every day and you will improve faster. It is also helpful to use English in small daily tasks. For example, when you make coffee, you can say, "I am making coffee. I will pour the milk. I like the smell of fresh coffee." When you clean your room, you can say, "I am cleaning my room. I put the clothes in the wardrobe. I am organizing my books." Using English in daily tasks makes your practice practical and meaningful. You can also set weekly challenges to improve faster. For example, you can decide, "This week I will learn 20 new words and use them in sentences. I will write 3 diary entries and speak with a partner for 15 minutes every day." Weekly challenges help you stay focused and give you a sense of achievement when you complete them. Another habit is learning common phrases for conversation. For example, you can learn, "How are you today?" "I am fine, thank you." "What did you do yesterday?" Then you can practice using these phrases in your writing, speaking, and daily life. Learning phrases helps you speak more naturally instead of only using single words. You should also use technology to help your learning. For example, you can set reminders on your phone to practice English. You can use apps to learn vocabulary, grammar, and listening. You can join online English communities to chat with others. Technology makes it easier to practice every day, and it gives you more opportunities to use English in real situations. A very simple but effective habit is asking questions in English every day. For example, you can ask yourself, "What is my favorite food? What is my plan for tomorrow? How do I feel today?" Then you answer in English. Asking and answering questions every day prepares you for conversations and makes your English stronger. Finally, it is very important to stay patient and consistent. Improvement does not happen in one day. For example, if you practice for 20 minutes every day for 1 month, you will notice small changes. After 3 months, you will feel more confident in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Consistency and patience are the keys to long-term success in learning English. One way to make daily English practice easier is to combine English learning with your favorite activities. For example, if you enjoy cooking, you can follow an English recipe and say the steps aloud as you cook. You can say, "I am chopping the onions. I am boiling the water. I will add salt to the soup." This way, you are practicing English while doing something you enjoy. Learning becomes fun, and you do not feel like you are studying. Another tip is to use short time periods for practice. You do not need to study English for hours every day. Even 10 or 15 minutes of focused practice can make a big difference. For example, you can spend 5 minutes in the morning listening to a short story, 5 minutes at lunch writing a diary entry, and 5 minutes in the evening reviewing new words. Short daily sessions are easier to maintain and help you build consistency. Creating a habit tracker is another useful tip. You can make a simple chart with the days of the week and the English activities you want to do. For example, on Monday, you can listen to a podcast. On Tuesday, you can write a diary entry. On Wednesday, you can speak with a partner. Each time you complete an activity, you can mark it on your chart. Seeing your progress visually motivates you to continue practicing every day. Using English labels at home is a simple habit that helps you learn naturally. For example, you can put a label on the fridge that says refrigerator, a label on your door that says door, and a label on your mirror that says mirror. Every time you see these items, you can say the word out loud. This is a refrigerator. This is a door. This is a mirror. Repeating words in context every day helps you remember them easily. Talking to yourself in English is also very effective. You can describe your actions during the day. For example, when you are getting dressed, you can say, I am putting on my shirt. I am wearing blue pants. I like my shoes because they are comfortable. When you are walking outside, you can say, I am walking to the park. The weather is sunny. I see many people and children playing football. Speaking about your daily life in English every day improves fluency and confidence. Another helpful tip is to create English mini challenges for yourself. For example, you can challenge yourself to use 5 new words today in sentences. You can also challenge yourself to speak in English for 10 minutes without using your native language. Challenges make practice exciting and give you a sense of achievement. For example, after completing a challenge, you can say, Today I spoke in English for 10 minutes. I used 5 new words in my sentences. I feel proud of myself. Learning English with a friend is a fun and motivating habit. You can set a daily time to talk in English with your friend, either in person or online. For example, you can say, Hello, today I learned 3 new words. Can we talk about our favorite movies in English? You can ask questions, answer, and correct each other politely. Practicing with a friend makes learning interactive and enjoyable. Another tip is to watch English videos with subtitles in your language first and then in English. For example, you can watch a short cooking video. First, watch it with subtitles in your native language to understand the story. Then watch it again with English subtitles. Finally, watch it one more time without subtitles and try to understand by listening only. This method improves your listening, reading, and comprehension skills at the same time. Making a vocabulary notebook is also very helpful. You can write down new words, phrases, or sentences you learn every day. For example, you can write, Excited. I am excited because I will meet my friend today. Every evening, you can review your notebook and try to make new sentences with these words. Writing and reviewing daily helps you remember English naturally. Another habit is to imitate native speakers. You can listen to a short sentence and try to copy the pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm exactly. For example, if you hear someone say, I am going to the store. Do you want to come with me? You can repeat, I am going to the store. Do you want to come with me? Imitating native speakers helps your English sound natural and improves your speaking confidence. Setting reminders to practice English during the day is also useful. You can set your phone to remind you, practice English now, 3 times a day. For example, in the morning you can listen to a podcast, in the afternoon you can write a short diary entry, and in the evening you can speak about your day. Reminders help you stay consistent and build a habit without forgetting. Another practical tip is to use English for small daily decisions. For example, when choosing clothes, you can say, I will wear a blue shirt today because it is sunny outside. When making breakfast, you can say, I will eat eggs and toast for breakfast. I will drink orange juice. Speaking in English during daily decisions makes your practice meaningful and connected to real life. Learning English through stories is also effective. You can read a short story and then retell it in your own words. For example, if you read a story about a boy who found a lost puppy, you can say, A boy found a puppy in the park. The puppy was small and hungry. The boy gave it food and took it home. They became best friends. Retelling stories improves vocabulary, grammar, and speaking fluency. Practicing English while walking or exercising is another fun habit. For example, when walking, you can say, I am walking in the park. The trees are green. Birds are singing. I feel happy today. While exercising, you can describe your actions. I am running fast. I am breathing deeply. I feel strong and healthy. Combining physical activity with English practice makes learning easier and more enjoyable. Another tip is to listen to short English news or radio programs every day. For example, you can listen, "Today the weather is sunny. People are visiting the park. Children are playing football. A new restaurant opened in the city." Listening to short news helps you learn new words and phrases and improves your understanding of real English. Making English part of your hobbies is also very effective. For example, if you enjoy drawing, you can watch English tutorials about drawing. If you enjoy sports, you can read articles about your favorite teams in English. If you enjoy cooking, you can follow English recipes. Learning English through your hobbies makes practice fun and meaningful. Another useful habit is to practice forming questions and answers every day. For example, you can ask, "What did I eat for breakfast today?" "I ate eggs and toast." "How do I feel today?" "I feel happy and motivated." "What will I do tomorrow?" "I will listen to a podcast and write a short diary entry in English." Practicing questions and answers prepares you for conversations and makes your English more fluent. Recording yourself speaking. English is another great tip. You can record short sentences, read a story, or describe your day. For example, you can say, "Today I woke up early. I listened to a podcast. I wrote a diary entry. I practiced speaking with a friend. I feel happy because I improved my English." After recording, you can listen and notice your pronunciation and mistakes. Recording helps you improve faster because you hear yourself clearly. Another tip is to use English for online activities. For example, you can comment on English YouTube videos, write a post in English on social media, or chat in English with a friend online. For example, you can write, "I really enjoyed this video. It was very interesting and helpful. I learned new words today." Using English online gives you practical experience and helps you communicate naturally. A very important habit is to celebrate small achievements. For example, if you learned 5 new words today, you can say, "I learned 5 new words today. I use them in sentences. I feel proud of myself." Celebrating small successes keeps you motivated and encourages you to continue practicing every day. Finally, always remember that consistency is more important than perfection. For example, even if you make mistakes or forget words, it is okay. What matters is practicing every day. Over time, daily practice leads to real improvement. Even 20 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Small, consistent habits create big results. Now let's create a weekly English plan that you can follow. A weekly plan helps you organize your time and make sure you practice all the important skills: listening, speaking, reading, writing, and thinking in English. I will give full examples for each day so you can see exactly what to do. Monday. Start the week with listening practice. For example, in the morning, you can listen to a 5-minute podcast about daily life. You can say, "Today I will listen to a podcast about hobbies. I will try to understand all the words. I will write down 3 new words and use them in sentences later." In the afternoon, you can watch a short English video with subtitles. For example, I am watching a video about cooking. The chef says, "First I wash the vegetables. Then I cut them into small pieces." I will repeat these sentences aloud to practice speaking. In the evening, write a short diary entry about your day. For example, today I listened to a podcast about hobbies. I watched a cooking video in English. I feel happy because I practiced listening and speaking. Tuesday, focus on speaking and thinking in English. In the morning, you can speak to yourself about your plans. For example, today I will study English for 30 minutes. I will practice speaking and writing. I want to learn 5 new words today. During lunch, you can describe what you are doing in English. For example, I am eating rice and vegetables. I am drinking water. I feel hungry but happy because the food is delicious. In the evening, practice a short conversation with a friend or online partner. For example, "Hello, how are you today? I learned some new words. Can we talk about our favorite movies in English? Wednesday. Focus on reading and vocabulary. In the morning, read a short article or story. For example, I am reading a story about a girl who visits the park. She sees a dog. The dog is friendly. She plays with the dog and feels happy. Write down new words and phrases in your notebook. For example, friendly, the dog is friendly. I am friendly to my friends. In the afternoon, review these words by making new sentences. For example, the teacher is friendly. My friend is friendly. I try to be friendly to everyone. In the evening, read your sentences aloud to practice pronunciation. Thursday. Focus on writing and listening together. In the morning, write a short diary entry. For example, today I woke up early. I listened to a podcast about travel. I learned new words and repeated them aloud. In the afternoon, listen to a short story in English. After listening, write a summary in your own words. For example, the story is about a boy who visits his grandmother. He helps her in the garden and learns about flowers. He feels happy to spend time with his grandmother. In the evening, read your summary aloud to improve speaking fluency. Friday. Focus on using English in daily life. In the morning, label objects in your house with English words. For example, this is a chair. This is a table. This is a door. I say the words aloud to remember them. During lunch, speak in English about your food. For example, I am eating bread and cheese. I am drinking tea. The food is very tasty. In the afternoon, try to ask and answer questions in English. For example, what will I do today? I will practice speaking. What did I do yesterday? I listened to a podcast and wrote a diary entry. Saturday. Focus on fun English activities. In the morning, listen to English songs and sing along. For example, I hear the words, I am walking in the sunshine. I repeat, I am walking in the sunshine. I understand the meaning and enjoy the music. In the afternoon, play word games or vocabulary apps. For example, I match the word excited with the correct picture. I use the word in a sentence. I am excited because I will visit my friend today. In the evening, watch a short video in English about your favorite hobby and try to explain it in your own words. For example, I watched a video about painting. The artist mixes colors and draws a tree. I try to draw a tree and describe it in English. Sunday. Focus on review and reflection. In the morning, review all the new words and phrases you learned during the week. For example, I learned the words excited, friendly, delicious, sunny, and practice. I will make sentences with each word. I am excited to study English. My teacher is friendly. The food is delicious. Today is sunny. I practice English every day. In the afternoon, write a longer diary entry about your week. For example, this week I practiced English every day. I listened to podcasts, watched videos, wrote diary entries, and spoke in English. I feel proud because I improved my listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. In the evening, prepare for the next week by setting small goals. For example, next week I will learn 10 new words, speak with a partner 3 times, and write 5 diary entries in English. It is important to combine different types of practice every day. For example, listening alone is not enough. You need to speak, write, read, and think in English as well. Mixing all these skills makes your learning complete. For example, you can listen to a podcast, repeat sentences aloud, write them in your notebook, and then think about how to use them in your life. Doing this every day builds strong English skills naturally. Another important tip is to adjust your routine to your schedule and energy levels. For example, if you feel tired in the evening, you can do lighter activities, such as listening to English music or reading a short story. If you feel energetic in the morning, you can do more challenging activities, like speaking with a partner or writing a diary entry. Listening to your body and planning your routine according to your energy helps you stay consistent. Making English practice social can also help. For example, you can join online English groups, participate in discussions, or comment on English videos. You can say, I liked this video. I learned some new words today. I want to practice more. Social interaction motivates you and gives you real-life experience using English. Another practical tip is to use reminders and small rewards. For example, you can set your phone to remind you to practice English 3 times a day. After completing your practice, you can reward yourself with something small, like a piece of chocolate or a short break. For example, I practiced listening and writing today. I will take a short walk because I finished my English practice. Rewards help keep your motivation high. Mixing English with hobbies is very helpful. For example, if you like cooking, watch English cooking videos and follow the instructions in English. If you like sports, read articles about your favorite teams in English and try to summarize them. If you like art, watch tutorials in English and describe your work. Combining hobbies and English practice makes learning more enjoyable and natural. Finally, always celebrate your progress. For example, at the end of the week, you can say, "This week I learned 20 new words. I spoke in English 5 times. I wrote 3 diary entries. I feel proud of myself because I practiced every day." Recognizing your achievements keeps you motivated and makes learning English a positive experience. Consistency, variety, and fun are the keys to making English practice a daily habit. When you follow a weekly plan like this, you are practicing listening, speaking, reading, writing, and thinking every day. For example, by combining short sessions, fun activities, speaking, and writing, your English will improve steadily. Every small action adds up to big results over time. One of the most important tips for improving your English is measuring your progress. You need to see how much you have improved so that you stay motivated and know what to focus on next. For example, at the beginning of each week, you can record yourself reading a short paragraph in English. Then, at the end of the week, record the same paragraph again. Listen carefully to the 2 recordings. You will notice improvements in your pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. Measuring your progress helps you see your success, even if it feels small. Another effective tip is to set achievable goals every week. For example, you can say, "This week, I will learn 10 new words, write 3 diary entries, and speak in English for 10 minutes every day." Setting realistic goals prevents frustration and keeps you motivated. When you complete your goals, you can reward yourself by watching a favorite video or enjoying a small treat. Achieving small goals every week gives you confidence and encourages you to continue learning. Keeping a progress journal is also very helpful. For example, every evening you can write about what you did in English that day. You can write, "Today I listened to a podcast about healthy habits. I learned 3 new words: energy, healthy, and exercise. I used them in sentences. I also spoke for 5 minutes about my morning routine." Writing about your practice every day helps you remember what you learned and notice improvements over time. It is also important to practice English in a variety of ways to avoid getting bored. For example, one day you can focus on listening by watching a short video. The next day, you can focus on speaking by describing your daily routine. Another day, you can focus on writing by keeping a diary. For example, today I wrote about my favorite food. I described how to cook it step by step in English. Writing in English helps me remember words and practice grammar. Varying your practice keeps learning interesting and effective. Using real-life situations for practice is a very effective strategy. For example, if you go shopping, you can think in English, "I need to buy apples and bread. How much does this cost? I will pay with cash." When you travel, you can practice English by asking, "Where is the nearest bus stop? How much is the ticket to the city center?" Practicing in real situations makes your English more practical and easier to remember. Another tip is to join English learning communities online or offline. For example, you can join a Facebook group or an online forum where people practice English every day. You can write posts such as, "Hello, I am learning English. Today I practiced writing sentences. I want to talk with others to improve my speaking. Being part of a community gives you support, motivation, and opportunities to practice with real people. Using feedback effectively is also very important. For example, if you write a diary entry or speak with a friend, ask for feedback. You can say, "Please tell me if I made any mistakes in my sentences. I want to improve my grammar and pronunciation." Listening to feedback and correcting your mistakes helps you improve faster and prevents repeating the same errors. Staying motivated is another key factor. One way to stay motivated is to track your achievements. For example, you can make a chart with all the new words you learned, the videos you watched, and the sentences you wrote. At the end of each week, you can say, "I learned 15 new words this week. I wrote 3 diary entries. I spoke in English for 30 minutes. I feel proud of myself because I practiced every day." Seeing your progress keeps you inspired to continue. It is also very important to avoid burnout. Learning English every day can feel tiring if you do not balance your practice. For example, if you feel tired, you can do lighter activities like listening to music, reading a short story, or watching a fun video in English. You can say, "I am tired today, so I will watch a short video in English. I will enjoy learning without feeling stressed." Balancing practice and rest helps you continue long-term. Creating a reward system can help you stay motivated. For example, after completing a week of daily English practice, you can reward yourself by watching a favorite English movie or having a treat. For example, I practiced English for 7 days in a row. I completed all my goals. Today, I will watch an English movie to celebrate my progress. Rewards make learning more enjoyable and give you extra motivation. Another helpful tip is to practice English with variety and fun challenges. For example, you can challenge yourself to speak only in English for 10 minutes while cooking, or write a short story using 5 new words. You can also play online word games or crossword puzzles in English. For example, I played a word game today. I learned new words like delicious, excited, and friendly. I used them in sentences and remembered them better. Fun challenges keep learning interesting and help you practice without feeling bored. Reviewing old material regularly is also very important. For example, at the end of each week, review the words, phrases, and sentences you learned. You can say, "This week I learned words like happy, sunny, delicious, and excited. I will make sentences with these words again. I am happy today. The weather is sunny. The food is delicious. I feel excited because I learned new words." Reviewing helps you remember and use English naturally. Using English in creative ways can make practice more effective. For example, you can describe your day in English using creative sentences. You can say, "This morning the sun was shining brightly. I drank coffee while reading a story in English. I felt happy and motivated to continue learning. I practiced speaking by repeating sentences aloud." Creative practice helps you enjoy English and makes your learning experience memorable. Another tip is to practice English in small steps consistently. For example, even if you have only 10 minutes, you can do one activity. You can say, "I have 10 minutes now. I will write 3 sentences in English and read them aloud." Small steps every day are more effective than long study sessions once in a while. Consistency is the key to long-term improvement. Using English for self-expression is also very helpful. For example, you can describe your feelings, ideas, and experiences. You can say, "I feel happy today because I learned new words. I am proud of myself for practicing every day. Learning English makes me confident and motivated." Expressing yourself in English every day improves your fluency and makes learning meaningful. Another tip is to record your goals and achievements regularly. For example, at the start of the month, write, "My goal this month is to learn 50 new words, speak in English 15 times, and write 10 diary entries." At the end of the month, write, "I completed my goals. I learned 50 words. I spoke in English 15 times. I wrote 10 diary entries. I feel proud because I improved my English steadily." Recording goals helps you plan and track progress effectively. Practicing English with repetition is very important. For example, when you learn a new word or phrase, use it in different sentences. You can say, I am excited because I will meet my friend. The weather is sunny and I am excited to go outside. I feel excited when I learn new words in English. Repeating words and phrases in different contexts helps you remember them and use them naturally. Finally, remember that learning English is a journey, not a race. You will have good days and challenging days. For example, some days you will understand everything easily, and some days you may struggle with new words. You can say, today I made some mistakes, but I learned new words. I feel happy because I practiced and improved a little. Being patient, consistent, and motivated is the key to long-term success. One very effective way to improve your English is to use small exercises that you can do anywhere. You do not need a classroom or a book. For example, when you are waiting for the bus, you can describe your surroundings in English. You can say, I see many people waiting. Some are talking on their phones. The bus is red and it is coming fast. I feel excited because I will go to the park. Doing this every day helps you practice thinking in English and improves your fluency. Another simple exercise is to practice speaking while doing household tasks. For example, when you are washing dishes, you can say, I am washing the dishes. I am using soap and warm water. I feel happy because I keep my kitchen clean. When you are making coffee, you can say, I am making coffee. I am pouring milk into the cup. The coffee smells very good. By combining daily tasks with English practice, you make learning a natural part of your life. Using sticky notes around your home is also very helpful. For example, you can put a sticky note on your door with the word door, on the refrigerator with the word refrigerator, and on your mirror with the word mirror. Every time you see these objects, you can say the word out loud and make a sentence. For example, this is a door. I open the door to go outside. The refrigerator keeps food cold. Seeing and speaking words in context every day helps you remember them easily. Another tip is to talk to yourself in English regularly. You can describe your plans, feelings, and actions. For example, in the morning, you can say, today I will practice English for 30 minutes. I will listen to a podcast, write a diary entry, and speak aloud. I am motivated to learn new words. When you go shopping, you can say, I need to buy apples and bread. I will check the price. I will pay with cash. Talking to yourself in English every day strengthens your speaking skills and builds confidence. Creating a daily word challenge is very effective. For example, you can choose 5 new words every day and use them in sentences. You can say, today I learned the words excited, delicious, friendly, sunny, and practice. I will use them in sentences. I am excited because I will meet my friend today. The cake is delicious. My teacher is friendly. The weather is sunny. I practice English every day. Using words in different sentences helps you remember them better. Listening to short English audio every day is very useful. For example, you can listen to a 5-minute podcast or a short story. While listening, you can write down new words. You can say, I heard the word practice in the podcast. I will make a sentence. I practice English every morning. I heard the word friendly. I will make a sentence. My friend is friendly and helpful. Listening every day improves your understanding of natural English and helps you learn vocabulary and context. Another tip is to practice reading aloud. For example, you can take a short article, a story, or even a social media post and read it aloud. You can say, I am reading a story about a boy who visits the park. He sees a dog and plays with it. He feels happy to spend time outside. Reading aloud improves pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. It also helps your brain connect written words with spoken words. Writing a daily diary entry is another powerful habit. For example, every evening you can write, today I woke up early and listened to a podcast. I learned 3 new words. I spoke English for 10 minutes. I practiced reading and writing. I feel proud of myself because I practiced every day. Writing every day improves grammar, vocabulary, and your ability to express ideas in English. Another effective habit is to repeat sentences you hear in English. For example, if you watch a video and hear, "I am going to the market," "I will buy some vegetables," you can repeat, "I am going to the market," "I will buy some vegetables." Repeating sentences aloud improves pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. You can do this with podcasts, videos, or songs every day. Using English with your hobbies is very helpful. For example, if you enjoy cooking, you can follow an English recipe. You can say, "I am chopping the vegetables." "I am boiling water." "I will add salt to the soup." Cooking in English helps me learn new words and phrases. If you enjoy sports, you can read articles in English about your favorite team and summarize them. For example, today my team won the game. The players were very excited. I am happy because they played well. Combining hobbies and English practice makes learning enjoyable and meaningful. Another tip is to practice asking and answering questions every day. For example, you can ask yourself, "What did I eat today?" And answer, "I ate eggs and toast for breakfast." "I drank tea." "I feel happy because I ate a healthy breakfast." You can ask, "What will I do tomorrow?" And answer, "Tomorrow I will listen to a podcast, write a diary entry, and speak in English with a friend." Practicing questions and answers prepares you for conversations and helps you think in English naturally. Using technology to practice English is also very useful. For example, you can set reminders on your phone to practice English 3 times a day. You can use vocabulary apps to learn new words, grammar apps to improve your sentences, and video platforms to watch English lessons. For example, my phone reminded me to practice English. I listened to a podcast for 5 minutes and wrote 3 sentences about it. Technology helps me practice regularly and stay motivated. Another practical tip is to review old material regularly. For example, at the end of each week, review the words, phrases, and sentences you learned. You can say, "I learned words like happy, excited, delicious, sunny, and friendly." I will make sentences. "I am happy today." The weather is sunny. The cake is delicious. My friend is friendly. I feel excited because I learned new words. Reviewing helps you remember English better and use it naturally in your daily life. Rewarding yourself for practicing English is very helpful. For example, after practicing English for a week, you can say, "I completed all my daily exercises this week." I will watch a favorite English movie as a reward. I feel proud because I practiced every day. Rewards keep you motivated and make learning English more enjoyable. Creating a routine that fits your schedule is also important. For example, if you are busy in the morning, you can practice English in the afternoon or evening. If you are tired in the evening, you can do lighter activities like listening to music or reading a short story. For example, "I am tired today, so I will watch a short video in English." I will enjoy learning without feeling stressed. Adjusting your routine helps you practice consistently without feeling overwhelmed. Another tip is to practice English with a friend or partner. For example, you can say, "Hello, today I learned 5 new words. Can we talk about our favorite movies in English?" I want to practice speaking and using new words. Practicing with someone else makes learning interactive and fun. It also gives you real-life conversation experience. One of the best ways to improve English is to practice in the morning before starting your day. For example, when you wake up, you can describe your routine in English. You can say, "I woke up at 7 o'clock. I brushed my teeth and washed my face. I made my bed. I feel ready to start the day. I am excited to practice English today." Speaking in English first thing in the morning helps you start the day focused and motivated. After breakfast, you can listen to a short English podcast or watch a video while preparing for your day. For example, I am listening to a podcast about healthy habits. The speaker says, "Drinking water in the morning helps your body feel energetic." I repeat the sentence aloud. "Drinking water in the morning helps my body feel energetic." Listening in the morning helps your brain wake up in English and improves comprehension. During your commute or travel, you can practice thinking in English. For example, I am going to the market. I need to buy apples and bread. I hope the market is not too crowded. I feel happy because I will buy fresh fruit today. Thinking in English during small daily activities helps you use English naturally without stress. At work or school, you can practice English by labeling your tasks and surroundings. For example, I am writing an email to my teacher. I am reading a report. My computer is on the desk. I feel focused because I am completing my tasks in English. Describing tasks in English improves vocabulary for professional or school-related situations. During lunch, you can practice speaking or writing about your food. For example, I am eating rice and chicken today. I also have a salad with tomatoes and cucumbers. The food is delicious. I feel happy because I have a healthy meal. You can also write a short sentence in your diary. Today I ate rice and chicken. I enjoyed my lunch. I practice describing my food in English. Talking about daily routines like meals helps build practical English skills. After lunch, you can practice listening and repeating sentences from videos or podcasts. For example, I am watching a video about morning exercises. The instructor says, "Stretch your arms and legs. Take a deep breath." I repeat, "Stretch your arms and legs. Take a deep breath." Repeating sentences aloud improves pronunciation and speaking confidence. Doing this daily makes your English sound more natural. In the afternoon, you can practice writing short messages or posts in English. For example, I am writing to my friend in English. I say, "Hello, how are you today? I learned some new English words. Can we talk about our favorite movies?" Writing small messages every day improves grammar, vocabulary, and confidence. You can also write short sentences about your day. For example, I studied English for 30 minutes. I listened to a podcast. I wrote 3 sentences. I feel happy because I practiced. Another tip is to practice describing your surroundings in English. For example, when walking outside, you can say, "I am walking in the park. The grass is green and the flowers are colorful. I see children playing football. Birds are singing in the trees. I feel relaxed because the weather is sunny and pleasant." Describing real-life situations helps you think and speak in English naturally. In the evening, you can review new words and sentences learned during the day. For example, today I learned the words energetic, delicious, relaxed, healthy, and focused. I will make sentences with each word. I feel energetic today because I practiced English. The food is delicious. I feel relaxed after my walk. Drinking water is healthy for my body. I stayed focused during my work. Reviewing at the end of the day helps you remember vocabulary and use it confidently. Another creative exercise is to record yourself speaking about your day. For example, I woke up at 7 o'clock. I brushed my teeth and made my bed. I listened to a podcast and repeated sentences aloud. I described my lunch in English. I walked in the park and spoke about my surroundings. I wrote 5 sentences in my diary. I feel happy because I practiced English all day. Listening to your recordings helps you notice mistakes and track progress over time. You can also practice English while doing chores. For example, when cleaning your room, you can say, "I am cleaning my desk. I am organizing my books. I feel satisfied because my room is tidy." When washing dishes, you can say, "I am washing the dishes. I am using warm water and soap. I feel happy because I am helping my family and practicing English." Integrating English into everyday activities makes it easier to maintain daily habits. Another fun activity is to practice English with your hobbies. For example, if you enjoy drawing, you can watch English tutorials and describe your actions. You can say, "I am drawing a tree. I am mixing green and brown colors. I am adding leaves to the branches. I feel happy because I am learning English and improving my drawing skills." If you enjoy sports, you can follow English videos about exercises or games and describe what you do. For example, I am doing push-ups. I am running around the park. I feel strong because I am exercising and practicing English at the same time. It is also helpful to practice asking questions and answering them in English. For example, what did I do today? I listened to a podcast, wrote 5 sentences, and practiced speaking. What will I do tomorrow? I will watch an English video, speak for 10 minutes, and write a diary entry. How do I feel today? I feel proud because I practiced English all day. Asking and answering questions every day prepares you for conversations and improves fluency. You can make English. Practice social by speaking with friends or family in English. For example, hello. Today I learned 5 new words. Can we talk about our favorite books in English? I want to practice speaking and using new words. Speaking with someone else gives real-life conversation experience and makes learning interactive and fun. Another practical tip is to use online tools and apps to practice English. For example, you can use a dictionary app to check new words, a grammar app to practice sentences, or a language exchange app to speak with a partner. You can say, I checked the word energetic in the dictionary. It means having a lot of energy. I made a sentence. I feel energetic today because I practiced English. Using apps helps me learn efficiently and practice every day. Reviewing weekly progress is also very important. For example, at the end of each week, you can say, this week I learned 20 new words. I wrote 5 diary entries. I listened to podcasts for 30 minutes every day. I spoke in English 3 times with a friend. I feel proud because I practiced every day. Reviewing progress motivates you and shows that your consistent practice is working. Another effective tip is to practice English creatively. For example, you can describe your dreams, make a story, or imagine situations in English. You can say, I dreamt that I traveled to London. I saw the Big Ben and visited a museum. I met new friends and spoke English with them. I felt happy and excited because I learned new words and used them in my dream. Story. Creative practice makes learning enjoyable and memorable. You can also practice English while reading or listening to news. For example, today I read an article about a new park in the city. The park is big and has many flowers. Children are playing. People are jogging. I feel happy because I learned new words like jogging and playground. I will make sentences with these words. I like jogging in the park. Children play in the playground every day. Reading and listening to news improves comprehension and vocabulary. Another tip is to combine learning English with reflection. For example, every evening you can ask yourself, what did I learn today? What did I practice? How do I feel about my progress? You can answer, today I learned 5 new words. I listened to a podcast and repeated sentences aloud. I spoke with a friend. I feel proud because I practiced English consistently. Reflection helps you understand your strengths and areas to improve. Let's start with speaking practice. Speaking every day is very important for improving English fluency. You do not need a partner to practice speaking. For example, in the morning, you can describe your plans aloud. You can say, today I will wake up early. I will eat breakfast. I will practice English for 30 minutes. I want to learn 5 new words today. Later in the day, you can describe what you see around you. For example, I am walking in the park. The sun is shining. Children are playing football. Birds are singing in the trees. I feel happy to be outside. Speaking about daily life helps you use English naturally and improves confidence. Another way to practice speaking is to repeat sentences from podcasts, videos, or English lessons. For example, if you hear a sentence like, I drink coffee every morning because it helps me wake up, you can repeat, I drink coffee every morning because it helps me wake up. You can say it 3 times and try to match the pronunciation and rhythm. This exercise improves pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. You can also practice speaking by asking and answering questions aloud. For example, you can ask yourself, what did I eat for breakfast today? And answer, I ate eggs and toast. I drank milk. I feel happy because I ate a healthy meal. Another question can be, what will I do this afternoon? And answer, I will listen to a podcast, write a short diary entry, and review new words I learned this week. Asking questions and answering them helps you think in English naturally. Another helpful exercise is to describe your emotions and feelings in English. For example, I feel excited because I practiced English today. I feel happy because the weather is sunny. I feel proud because I completed my daily English exercises. Expressing emotions in English every day builds vocabulary and makes your speech more natural. Next, let's focus on listening practice. Listening every day is very important because it helps you understand how English sounds in real life. For example, you can listen to a 5-minute podcast about daily routines. You can say, I am listening to a podcast about morning routines. The speaker says, I wake up at 6 o'clock. I brush my teeth and wash my face. I repeat aloud, I wake up at 6 o'clock. I brush my teeth and wash my face. Listening and repeating helps your brain recognize English sounds and patterns. Another listening exercise is to watch short English videos with subtitles. For example, I am watching a video about making a sandwich. The chef says, first I take 2 slices of bread. Then I add cheese and vegetables. Finally, I put the top slice of bread. I repeat aloud. First, I take 2 slices of bread. Then I add cheese and vegetables. Finally, I put the top slice of bread. Watching and repeating improves both listening and speaking skills. You can also practice listening by identifying new words. For example, while listening to a story, you hear the word excited. You can say, I heard the word excited. It means feeling happy and enthusiastic. I will make a sentence. I'm excited because I will meet my friend today. Learning new words from listening helps you expand your vocabulary naturally. Reading practice is another important skill. You can start by reading short stories, articles, or posts online. For example, I am reading a story about a boy who visits the zoo. He sees lions, monkeys, and elephants. He feels happy to see the animals. He takes photos and enjoys his day. After reading, you can write down new words and make sentences. For example, lion. The lion is strong. Monkey. The monkey is playful. Elephant. The elephant is big. Reading every day helps improve vocabulary, understanding of sentence structure, and overall English comprehension. Another reading exercise is to read aloud and practice pronunciation. For example, I am reading an article about healthy habits. The article says, drinking water every morning is good for your health. Eating vegetables and fruits gives you energy. I repeat aloud. Drinking water every morning is good for your health. Eating vegetables and fruits gives me energy. Reading aloud helps you connect written words with spoken English and improves fluency. Writing practice is also very important. You can start by keeping a daily diary. For example, today I woke up at 7 o'clock. I ate breakfast and listened to a short podcast. I learned 3 new words: excited, delicious, and friendly. I repeated sentences aloud and wrote 3 sentences using these words. I feel happy because I practiced English consistently. Writing every day helps you remember vocabulary and grammar while expressing your thoughts in English. Another writing exercise is to summarize what you listened to or watched. For example, I watched a video about making pancakes. The chef said to mix flour, eggs, and milk. I wrote a summary. First, mix the flour, eggs, and milk. Then heat a pan and pour the mixture. Finally, cook both sides until golden brown. I feel proud because I can explain the recipe in English. Summarizing improves comprehension, writing, and speaking skills at the same time. You can also practice writing sentences using new vocabulary. For example, if you learn the words sunny, healthy, and energetic, you can write, today is a sunny day. I ate a healthy breakfast. I feel energetic because I practiced English. Writing sentences with new words every day helps you remember them and use them naturally. Another helpful tip is to combine all skills in one activity. For example, you can listen to a short story, write a summary, read it aloud, and then speak about it. For example, I listened to a story about a girl who visits the park. I wrote a summary. The girl goes to the park. She sees flowers and birds. She feels happy. I read my summary aloud and then spoke about it. I like going to the park because it is relaxing. I feel happy when I see flowers and birds. Combining skills strengthens your English and makes practice more effective. Practicing English at specific times every day also helps create a habit. For example, you can say, I will practice English from 7 to 7:30 in the morning and again from 6 to 6:30 in the evening. During this time, I will listen, speak, read, and write. Having a fixed time every day makes practice consistent and easier to maintain. Another effective exercise is to practice English while reflecting on your day. For example, in the evening, you can say, Today I woke up early and practiced English. I listened to a podcast, repeated sentences aloud, wrote 3 sentences in my diary, and read a short story. I feel proud because I completed all my English exercises. Tomorrow, I will continue practicing and learn new words. Reflection helps you notice progress and stay motivated. You can also practice English with games and fun activities. For example, you can play word games like crossword puzzles or match new words with pictures. You can say, I played a word game today. I learned the word delicious. I made a sentence, the cake is delicious. I learned the word energetic. I made a sentence. I feel energetic after exercising. Fun activities make learning enjoyable and improve memory retention. Another practical tip is to use English in conversations with friends or family. For example, you can say, Hello, today I learned 5 new words. Can we talk about our favorite foods in English? I want to practice speaking and using new words. Real conversations help you apply English in real life, build confidence, and practice fluency. Finally, it is important to stay consistent and patient. Learning English is a long journey. For example, even if I do not understand everything today, I will keep practicing every day. I will listen, speak, read, and write. I will review my progress and celebrate small achievements. Every day I practice English, I become better and more confident. Consistency, patience, and daily practice are the keys to long-term success. Let's start with morning exercises. Morning is a great time to practice English because your mind is fresh and ready to learn. For example, when you wake up, you can start by speaking about your plans for the day. You can say, I woke up at 7 o'clock. I brushed my teeth and washed my face. I will eat breakfast and practice English for 30 minutes. I want to learn 5 new words and use them in sentences. Speaking about your plans helps you think in English and sets a positive tone for the day. After this, you can listen to a short podcast or audio lesson while having breakfast. For example, I am listening to a podcast about healthy habits. The speaker says, Drinking water in the morning helps your body feel energetic. I repeat aloud, Drinking water in the morning helps my body feel energetic. I feel motivated to practice more English today. Listening in the morning improves your comprehension and exposes you to natural English sounds. Next, you can read a short story or article for 10 minutes. For example, I'm reading a story about a girl who visits the zoo. She sees lions, monkeys, and elephants. She feels happy to see the animals. She takes pictures and enjoys her day. After reading, you can write 2 or 3 sentences summarizing the story. For example, the girl visited the zoo. She saw lions, monkeys, and elephants. She felt happy because she enjoyed the animals. Reading and writing in the morning helps you improve vocabulary and sentence structure. After breakfast and reading, you can practice speaking by describing your surroundings. For example, I am walking in my room. I see my desk, a chair, and a book on the table. The sun is shining through the window. I feel happy because the room is bright and clean. Describing your environment every morning helps you practice English naturally and improves fluency. Now let's move to afternoon exercises. The afternoon is perfect for more active English practice. You can start by listening to a podcast or watching a short video. For example, I am watching a video about making pancakes. The chef says, first mix the flour, eggs, and milk. Then heat a pan and pour the mixture. Cook both sides until golden brown. I repeat aloud. First, mix the flour, eggs, and milk. Then heat a pan and pour the mixture. Cook both sides until golden brown. Listening and repeating helps improve pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. After this, you can practice writing by summarizing the podcast or video. For example, I listened to a podcast about morning exercises. I wrote, I wake up early. I brush my teeth. I stretch my arms and legs. I feel happy because I start my day with energy. Writing summaries improves comprehension, vocabulary, and sentence formation. You can also practice speaking by asking and answering questions aloud. For example, what did I do this morning? I listened to a podcast and read a short story. What will I do this afternoon? I will watch a video and write sentences about it. How do I feel now? I feel proud because I practiced English consistently. Asking and answering questions helps you think in English naturally. Another activity is to practice English with daily tasks. For example, while cooking lunch, you can say, I am cooking rice. I am boiling water and adding rice. I am chopping vegetables. I feel happy because I am learning English and cooking at the same time. Using English while doing tasks combines learning with real-life activities. After lunch, you can practice reading aloud. For example, I am reading a news article about a new park in the city. The park is large and has many trees. Children play in the playground. People walk and jog. I feel happy because the park is beautiful. Reading aloud every day improves pronunciation and fluency. Next, let's focus on evening exercises. Evening is the best time to review and consolidate what you learned during the day. You can start by writing a daily diary entry. For example, today I woke up at 7 o'clock. I brushed my teeth and ate breakfast. I listened to a podcast about healthy habits. I watched a video about making pancakes. I wrote 3 sentences summarizing the video. I practiced speaking by describing my surroundings. I feel proud because I practiced English all day. Writing in the evening helps you remember vocabulary and grammar. Another evening exercise is reviewing new words and sentences learned during the day. For example, today I learned the words energetic, delicious, happy, proud, and bright. I will make sentences. I feel energetic because I practiced English. The food is delicious. I am happy because I listened to a podcast. I feel proud because I completed my exercises. The room is bright and clean. Reviewing words and using them in sentences every evening strengthens memory and fluency. You can also practice speaking by describing your day aloud. For example, today I woke up early and practiced English. I listened to a podcast, watched a video, wrote sentences, and read a short story. I feel happy because I completed all my exercises. I am motivated to continue practicing tomorrow. Speaking about your day every evening helps you improve fluency and confidence. Another activity is to practice listening one more time in the evening. For example, you can listen to a 5-minute audio story. You can say, I am listening to a story about a boy who goes to the park. He sees a dog and plays with it. He feels happy. I repeat aloud, he sees a dog and plays with it. He feels happy. Repeating the story aloud improves pronunciation, comprehension, and speaking fluency. Finally, you can reflect on your progress and set goals for the next day. For example, today I learned 5 new words and wrote 3 sentences. I spoke English for 15 minutes and listened to a podcast. Tomorrow I will learn 5 more words, write 3 sentences, and speak for 20 minutes. I feel proud because I practiced English every day and made progress. Reflection and goal setting help you stay motivated and maintain consistent habits. By following this daily routine, learners can practice English in all four skills: speaking, listening, reading, and writing every day. For example, in the morning, focus on speaking and listening. In the afternoon, focus on listening, writing, and speaking. In the evening, focus on writing, reviewing, speaking, and reflection. By practicing consistently, learners improve fluency, vocabulary, pronunciation, and confidence naturally. Another important point is to stay flexible with the routine. For example, if you are busy in the morning, you can practice in the afternoon or evening. If you are tired, you can do lighter activities like listening to a story or reading a short article. For example, I am tired today, so I will read a short story in English and repeat a few sentences aloud. I feel happy because I still practiced and learned something new. Flexibility helps you maintain consistent habits without stress. You can also add fun activities to your daily practice. For example, play word games, watch English songs with lyrics, or describe your favorite movie in English. You can say, I watched a short movie in English. I described the story aloud. The main character goes to school. He meets his friends and plays football. He feels happy because he enjoys the game. Fun activities make learning enjoyable and memorable. Another tip is to use English in real-life situations whenever possible. For example, at a store you can say, I want to buy apples and bread. How much does it cost? I will pay with cash. While traveling, you can say, excuse me, where is the nearest bus stop? How much is the ticket to the city center? Using English in daily life strengthens communication skills and builds confidence.